Vaccines are produced from the organism you are vaccinating against. For instance, in the production of Gumboro vaccine, they capture the Gumboro virus itself. They took it to the lab and reduced the harmful effects such that when you now give that Gumboro vaccine, it will not have any bad effects on the bird. Rather, it will stimulate the production of antibodies in high number. Now, I want you to picture these antibodies to be soldiers going to war to fight their enemies. Now, these antibodies are just like soldiers fighting against diseases. These diseases can be likened to enemies. And it is also important for you to know that antibodies are specific in their action. Antibodies for Gumboro disease can only fight against Gumboro virus. It cannot fight against Newcastle virus. And antibodies for Newcastle disease can only fight against Newcastle disease. It cannot fight against Gumboro virus. And the chance of these antibodies defeating a particular virus or infecting agent such as Gumboro, the chance of Gumboro antibodies defeating Gumboro virus is dependent on the number of antibodies the bears have for Gumboro. For instance, in the case of Gumboro, when these bears were hatched, they were hatched with 100 antibodies for Gumboro. But these 100 antibodies for Gumboro are not enough to withstand that Gumboro virus. So once there is Gumboro strike, it's going to affect the bird. It's going to overpower the birds because they don't have sufficient number of antibodies for Gumboro that will fight against the Gumboro virus. Remember, the antibodies are just like soldiers fighting against enemies, right? So there is a need for an increment in the number of antibodies for Gumboro that will fight against this Gumboro virus, because that 100 antibodies that these bears were hatched with are not just enough to fight against the real Gumboro in the field. So this is where vaccination come into play, because after vaccination there will be an increase in the production of antibodies. Instead of having 100 antibodies for Gumboro, there will be billions of antibodies, such that once Gumboro now strike, you as a farmer, you will not even notice it because your birds will not come down with it, because there are enough soldiers, there are enough antibodies that will fight against that, that virus. So this is the essence of vaccination. This is why we vaccinate our birds, for the production of antibodies in high number. And this production of antibodies is done by the immune system. It is the immune system that increases the production of this antibody. And that is why you don't vaccinate birds that are sick, because once animals are sick, it simply means that the immune system is down. The immune system is down. So once you now vaccinate, there will not be a production of antibody. Instead, you will see the birds coming down with that particular disease the more, because the immune system has already been compromised. And this also goes to explain why we give multivitamin a day before vaccination, because multivitamin boosts the immune system. It stimulates the immune system. It positions the immune system in a healthy physiological state.